It's the new animation.
It's loading speakers. That's not new, right? Oh, it has a new logo. Sorry, it took a minute. We're live, by the way. We're live.
Live. Live from Brooklyn and other places in the Netherlands. Sorry, I forgot your places.
Hi.
Hi. Cool. Sorry, I won't.
Done with
It's just cool.
Cool.
Hello.
Welcome to the Home Assistant 2023.12 release party, which is the last release party of the year.
Oh.
It is not the last stream. We'll get to that in a bit. But first, let's do a quick round of introductions. My name is Paul Schouts. I'm the founder of Home Assistant.
Hi, I'm Frank, and I work in the Home Assistant project. You mostly know me from writing those release notes.
I'm Guy. I lead the communications team at Nabekasa.
And my name is Matthias de Baat, and I'm a user experience designer for Nabekasa and work on Home Assistant mainly.
Nice. Okay, today we have a very cool release with actually like features all around the whole Home Assistant app being improved, which is super exciting. I think we've also like, I don't know, is there like an uptick in contributors, or is there, I feel like there's an uptick in significant contributions from like contributors or like bigger features that are being worked on?
Yeah, it's a mix of both, I would say. We're working on some bigger features, and this release showcases a bunch that have been like incorporating things that the team where Matthias is at that now like sees daylight, right? The new login and stuff. We'll see that in a bit. But also, yeah, we're working on getting the queues down. Like we have lots of contributions. It's hard to process those queues, so we're actively working on getting those queues down, so we have more contributions merged, and therefore there's more
that's
queues.
interesting because I don't think people realize, but we open source, so there's a lot of people that can contribute to Home Assistant. This is done using what's called a pull request, where like they say, pull in my changes into Home Assistant, and then like we merge it into Home Assistant, and like we can all release it. Everybody can benefit. And for a long while, we've been drowning, basically, where like more and more came in, then we could really catch up. We were, every part of Home Assistant has its own list of changes that people want to contribute, and we have to like review them, make sure that they're okay, make sure they don't cause bugs. If they do cause bugs, we either have to fix it or do whatever. And how many pull requests did we had open? Like 2 weeks ago?
2 weeks ago, I think organization-wide is just looking at Home Assistant org, not our other libraries and whatnot, but just the Home Assistant org was over 1,042, 1,050, something like that. Open pending contributions, changes people want to make that need like review, code review, quality control, testing, things like that.
Yeah. And now, what's the latest?
850, I think,
right.
860, which, by the way, doesn't sound much because it's 200, but in meantime, people keep contributing, right? So it's not 200 merge. It's probably more close to 500 then, because for average, we merge around somewhere between 1,000 and 1,500 PRs, pull request contributions a month, which is the old statistic, by the way.
That's why we're the second most active open source project in the world, right?
Yeah.
Like, this is that's it.
It's wild. It's off the charts. It's a skill that like literally almost no project knows how to deal with. No. And so we are always challenged with something different, a different skill than others. So that's always hard. But we're managing and making an upbeat now.
So we have an awesome release. All right. Shall we just kick it off with the release?
Yeah, sure.
Cool.
Bring it on.
So I think we can just start talking about the first topic, I would say. Which is the first thing on the list is the login screen.
Yeah. Shall I share my screen?
Yeah, please do,
You
Matthias.
know?
I know you have prepared.
Or
I could
even
share the
better,
log.
I'm gonna
Oh boy.
share. Oh boy, just a
Oh,
sec.
now he's gonna get excited. So, shall I introduce, or do you want to?
No, I can
Oh, it's
introduce.
there.
Yeah. It's
Okay,
yeah.
here we go.
Wait,
Oh
who's
yeah.
gonna
So
take it?
okay.
Hold.
Home Assistant is known for amazing stuff, right? So we're doing a lot of great stuff, and most of those amazing stuff happen after you log in. So in the past, well, year or years, we have paid mostly our attention on things that happen after login. But what we are trying to do right now, in a couple of months ago, is try to investigate how we can help users that are new to Home Assistant. And if you are new to Home Assistant, one of the first things you're gonna see is, well, onboarding. So that's one thing we fixed in one of the earlier
Yeah, it
releases.
was in September, right? We did a overhaul of the onboarding screens in September.
And after that, it's the login screen, right?
Yep.
So one of the cool things is I'm a user experience designer, so I know about creating cool experience, right? But I work with guys like Frank and Paulus that are developers and that know like cool stuff about the technical side of things. And during one of our discussions, I think Frank, you said, "Hey,
Mhm.
you know, there is an option to make the login experience even better, especially if you are at home." And that's what we did.
Yeah.
So what we did is, if you're at home and you use and we know that, and that's Frank, I'm not going to explain the technical side of things. So
I will explain attack a little bit later. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Go ahead.
But so basically, we know that you are at your own local network, and if we know that, we can show you a experience that you are you already seeing? But am I sharing the screen? Not yet.
No,
right?
we're not. Should we add your screen?
Yeah. There it is. By the way, I'm a big fan of Asterix and Obelix, so that's what it's on the screen. What you're now seeing here is I opened Home Assistant in my mobile app. It's live, by the way, and it's on my local network, so it recognizes it and it presents me with the users here, or even better, the people. How we're calling it people. In this case, there are 3 people in my demo environment. Me and Asterix and Obelix. And the nice thing about this is that because you're on your local network, we already can show you these people you have in your home. This case, my name is Matthias, so I press my name and I can log in straight away and continue and log in. I go back because this helps you. The goal here is to have a more familiar login experience, like Microsoft has, or Netflix, for example, also it is like avatars, right? So there's a familiarity, but it's also cool to just show the profile pictures here because you uploaded it, right? So cool to share those. But there's still the old login options called other login options. That's shown here.
Nice. Can you change the language to English? Just because
Sure.
now it's not, because this is a new feature, right? Like we used to always.
It is.
This was
English.
used to not be possible to change the language, and now it's possible.
There it is. Yeah, cool, right? So that's one of the things. It's the same design as we are using for the onboarding. So there's a consistency there. And same features. For example, the language picker, that's also an onboarding. So we also have it now on the login screen. Did I miss something here? I'm not sure.
So this resembles quite a popular UI you see in many applications nowadays, right? If you go to your Netflix or into your laptop, your Mac OS or Windows laptop, doesn't matter, you'll get your profile pictures and you select the profile you want, and well, you're in your space. And the Home Assistant basically now does the same. It shows those profiles.
Mhm.
But as Matthias already highlighted a little bit, this is not something you always want to do. For example, if you have your Home Assistant instance exposed to the internet, I don't know, maybe you set up a proxy, did the port forwarding stuff, or even if you're using Nabucasa's remote UI features via the Home Assistant cloud, which you definitely should subscribe to, by the way. Yeah, if you use those, then that's external, right? You're externally going into your Home Assistant instance from anywhere in the world. And if that's you or somebody else visiting your instance, showing this page would not be helpful because it would give away the users that are in your home, the people that are in your home, and that would be like a privacy concern, right? So what we've done is that we've built in a detection for this that actually detects if you are in your home on your local network. Could be VPN, but that's still local. And if you are on your local network, then we will show these nice profiles. But if you're coming from outside, then you will get the normal login screen that Matthias showed right now here
More
on
or
the
less
screen.
this one.
Yeah, which is more or less the same as the previous and the old version, but then modernized into the new UI layouts. One thing to notice, especially on this screen, which I absolutely love, if you've ever logged in locally and you forgot that little checkbox down below that keep me logged in one, and you forgot to check that, and then try to refresh your page, you would be logged out again. I found that super annoying, especially locally. And we made it smarter. It has been removed. If you're on the local network and we detect you're there, then we automatically assume you want to keep logged in because you're in a secure environment. But as soon as you're external, then that box is by default unchecked because you could be in a public environment. And last but not least, if you're using trusted networks, which you probably shouldn't, but if you do, we're not a fan, but it is there, and people have use cases for it. Like, for example, you could pre-authorize your wall tablet for the kiosk user to log in without a password automatically on your local network. This feature has been brought in seamlessly into this new profile login. So if you click on a user that has local network access, like is on the trusted network and could log in without a password, that new login screen will automatically detect that and use that login method. So you don't have to switch between login methods as you had to do before. You can just click on it and it will just continue. So that's now transparent in there, which I think is absolutely lovely, but still not a fan. Yeah, I think that would cover the last technical bit and a little quirks we entered to make it more slick in terms of experience.
Yeah, it's very nice.
So I've seen some questions in the chat about, is it secure, basically? That's the question, right?
I mean, it is secure, right? Like, you need to still use your password, right? It's not like we just allow you to log in unless you use trusted networks, which we are not a big fan of to begin with, and you need to use YAML configuration to get there, right? It's not an option we make easy, but it's something that has existed, so we haven't removed it. So yeah, is it secure? Yes, the security, like everything is still protected using authentication tokens and all that stuff.
The security hasn't changed. It's just the way we display it that changed.
Yeah. So so do we need to enable trusted networks? No, you don't. In fact, please, we're just not a fan of allowing pre-approving IP address ranges to log in. So no, do not enable trusted networks. You can just use this.
It's not recommended. I would definitely not recommend it to use it. But if you do,
we talked about this a long, right? About trusted networks.
Yeah.
Right. So the use case there and why it's there. And in the end, I understand why it is introduced. For example, if you got a wall tablet.
It's mainly for guests, I think it was introduced, where you could say, I want my guest to scan a QR code and log in. But basically, it added a guest mode it's not a guest mode feature, right? It's still just Home Assistant. So it is not, it's kind of a light version guest mode that is not fully guest mode. So yeah. I think
this is...
Yeah.
Sorry, this was a good question, I think. How about a proxy? If you use a proxies from your local network, Home Assistant will actually only function if the proxy is set up correctly. So we detect that. And if your proxy is set up correctly and does Home Assistant works, we also know where your connection is coming from and thus handle it correctly.
I saw somebody mentioning like Face ID. That's obviously an Apple feature, but let me just quickly share my screen because that is an open pull request. Bruno is Bijan Kal is Bruno. He's working at Nabukasa full time on the iOS and Mac experiences, and this is one of the features that he's working on, making sure that you can actually use Face ID to unlock the Home Assistant app. So your phone, even though you're already unlocked your phone, you would still need Face ID to open your home app. So this is something that's cool, that's coming. It is not related to the login experience because the phone app is logged in once, right? And after that, it's able to access.
Over time, I would love to see the passkey feature landing.
Yeah.
I've seen an architecture issue about it. Not sure where that is.
I mean, we have multi-factor authentication is possible, and so this is these things are possible. We just need to sit down. Somebody needs to sit down.
Somebody needs to build it, right?
Yeah, needs to build it. Yeah,
one of those 500 PRs, right?
Yeah.
So if you're watching, I'm happy to
We'll do it. Yeah, I think our challenge with authentication related pull requests is that it has to be vetted very carefully, right? Like everything, of course, has to be vetted carefully, but with authentication, we need to have many eyes on it. Yeah. All right. Are we going to show the release notes?
I'm seeing a comment. Please mention two-factor authentication. Yes, absolutely.
Do use it everywhere you can. Freaking I agree. All right, so we have the beautiful new login page Matthias just showed. This is the non-mobile version, by the way.
Oh, and there are the same particles as we have in the onboarding. So on mobile, it isn't there, but then if you are on desktop, bigger screens, there's a nice animation. Yeah.
They're cool and they're intriguing.
Yeah, JLo, particles.
Yeah, JLo indeed.
When did we add the particles? This is like a year ago or something during the onboarding.
No, a bit longer even.
Yeah,
it was. Yeah, maybe 2 years, something like that. Yeah. It's really cool.
I tend to watch them. They're kind of, I don't know, makes you I don't know why. It's just soothing or something.
By the way, are you using English Great Britain version?
Apparently. Cool. I don't know. I made a screenshot in Safari because I could not get there's, by the way, in case you try with Google Chrome and you're like, this is not working, that could be the case. There's actually a bug in Google Chrome that tries to use a public IPv6 address to connect to Home Assistant. So Home Assistant is like, yeah, you're coming from a public network, which I'm running into. So I opened up Safari for basically the first time to make the screenshot.
In this case, Safari wins. That's a new one. Sorry, I'm a Safari user. I'm being mocked of it.
We've been in touch with Google about this bug, and we're trying to get them to fix it. This is not something we can fix.
Nope.
Yeah.
All right. Next up is the thermostat card. So what do we want to demonstrate it, or shall I just
small introduction. Okay. So in September, we released more info of the couple of climate cards of climate more info, for example, thermostats or the humidity of a humidifier. And we did that because that one. So weeks before, even months before, we did talk to a bunch of users. We did user tests. In the same, basically what we're doing with the onboarding and with the logging experience is to make sure that this experience is better than we had before, and especially better for all kind of users, specifically this one. Because it's hard to find even the older version than this is a September release, if I can remember correctly.
Yeah.
It was basically a couple of inputs. It's totally different, but it was almost a bit similar as we had as the card, right? The card below was also a circular slider that you can drag, only a bit different. And the difference here is that we did user testing for this circular slider, for this control. And what we found out is that this one is more usable because it presents more data. The touch area was also bigger than the current slider. So it fixed a couple of usability issues, and also people responded that they liked the appearance, basically layout. That's what we
I
get
remember
from
the old like thin line with a little dot on it that you had
Very
to
hard
try to
to,
drag. And
Yeah.
it frustrated the hell out of me when I tried to do that on my mobile. Yeah, it's just like it was just like frustrating. But this actually works.
Yeah, absolutely. And also the big difference here is the plus and minus buttons.
Yeah.
So the plus and minus button, that was a big thing we learned in the user testing, is that more or less like half of the people like to use the slider and the other half like to use the plus and minus button. So that's cool. So that's why we introduced both in this more info dialog. Now, the question was, the thermostat card and the more info aren't in sync. It's not consistent, right? And from the September release, there were a bunch of people asking, "Hey, can we use the same? Can we get the same experience as the more info in a card?
Can I put this on my dashboard, right?
Can you put this?" And I've seen the Thomas Loven custom card, the more info dialog tip. So a lot of people use that custom card for it. So that was basically a hack. And why we didn't introduce it even in September, we discussed this because it was, well, basically it was a design challenge, in my opinion, because in the more info, you've got more space, right? In a card, the current card, it was smaller. And if you go and get smaller, how are you going to fix the same information? And I think we fixed that. We nailed it. With some extra nice features. And that's also in the
I'm just
discussion.
going to switch the screen and show it because we're still looking at the more info. Or do you have one, Frank?
I can create one. I can
I've
show
got one
one.
on my screen, on my mobile,
Okay.
even, if you want to.
There we go.
So I've got a demo here. So this is the easiest one. Just a heating slider, just a single slider. So it's basically the same, right? So the only difference here is that we have a current temperature is in the slider here. So the target temperature is heating to 20 Celsius, and the current temperature is 25. So and the same happens, right? Which I really like. So this is the magic from Paul. He created this. It's really awesome. So I challenged him. I said, I want this. And he just built it. That's cool, right?
I sometimes wonder if he can be challenged, to be honest. You're amazing, Paul.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah. And same, the plus and minus work, right? So this is the single one, but I have another tab. Here are, for example, the HVAC. It's the other way around, if you got the both. So this is really similar as the more info card we have. The only difference here, let me change this one. If I edit dashboard, and here comes Paul back again, is we've got features. So we can add a feature, for example, this one and this one. This adds this row below. And this is the same features as we are using for the tile cards. And that's really smart. So because we had a challenge of in the current thermostat card, there were also these kind of buttons, more
the
like
HVAC
buttons
modes were visible.
Yeah. And we were like, how are we going to fix that? And then I'm not sure who said that. it was in the design front-end discussion. He said, well, we already have this. We've got this in the tile card, so why not use the same? And that's really smart in my opinion. So this is modular. So if you like more control, you can get more control. If you like a more clean dashboard, you can hide it, and then you can open the more info dialog, which have still these ones. So that's cool. And that's basically what we're trying to achieve, right, with the Home Assistant, that you can build your experience that you like. So if you're more an advanced type of user, want to show more data, sure, go ahead.
So what is interesting is the features from the tile card. Those are the tile card features, and we decoupled them from the tile card so we can use them in different places. So that's why they are now shown here.
Yeah.
Which is just genius. It's just reuse of what we have and creates a consistent and familiar interface. And the features, the tile card features are amazing.
Yeah. Yep. Here's a question. Somebody asked, will this work with all thermostats? Yep, it works, because this is how we represent thermostats now. What happens if the heating temperature is higher than the AC temperature? I don't think Home Assistant allows that, because that is that would put you in an infinite loop, right?
So this blocks, right?
Yeah, it blocks. Yeah, because otherwise you're going to be heating, and then the cooling kicks in, and then like they're just fighting.
Yep. By the way, this is not my home; it's a demo. So not that my home.
You don't have 8 thermostats.
Yeah. And a high thermostat and a dehumidifier.
So that's a cool thermostat now, but I'll talk about it after we go through the release.
Oh yeah, you should definitely show that one.
That is really cool.
That thing is really cool. I wanted to add to this. This is not just the climate or / thermostat card that has been changed.
No.
We have applied the exact same thing to the dehumidifier card. So yeah, those look now in the high thermostat. Yeah, those look now slick as well. So that's pretty nice. And since most of the world will be in the cold part of the year now, or at least for the Home Assistant user base, that is. Yeah, nice addition for December.
Yeah. Very nice. All right. I'm going to show your screen, Frank.
Yeah, that's okay.
Let's see. What
the
is
thermostat card?
Yeah,
what is
about this? It's just because the experience is great, and it works now in very small spaces, right? I don't know if Matthias mentioned it, but like if you used to have your thermostat in like a grid, which only had half the column width, the card will now adjust and hide some of the controls to fit.
Yeah, and this screenshot is kind of nice because you see there's now a little glow here happening, and it's heating. So this is actually now like the flame is on, right? And my boiler is actually heating up this space in this screenshot. So
I need a better monitor, Frank, because I don't see the glow on your screen. I do normally see it on my screen, but there's a glow
could it be the resolution that is, or the quality of the image that is passed along? But it is saying it's heating, and the temperature is now red too, or in orange.
Yeah.
All right. Well, this is what it looks like in the big one. If you do the features full screen, it will look like this.
Beautiful.
It is. It is absolutely stunning. And the humidifiers, talked about that a little, also has features available, by the way.
Yeah.
All right. Numeric input for tile cards.
You got a demo for this?
I can create a demo. No problem.
Let's do this.
I didn't prepare a demo for this one.
No, I mean, me neither, but we can add a card. So tile cards have been expanding all year, right? All year we've seen tons of new features and things happening for the tile card. So same case as today. We added a feature for number and input number entities, which was contributed, actually. I forgot the name. We'll show it in a second. But for example, my boiler has a domestic heat point, and I could now add a feature which is a numeric input. That's the new one. And it will give you a nice like button plus or minus, which allows you to adjust the number input. Also works for number helpers if you use those. But I could edit it and say I want a slider because I prefer that. There we go.
Oh, nice.
Super nice, right? This is actually not working because I know that at the moment I added this one, I was like, this is not going to work when I change it with this entity. But you get the gist. You can add an input number, a number entity, and then Joseph, thank you.
Thank you, Joseph.
Joseph
really
did a
cool.
lot of more interesting stuff. I hope to see
it was
some
a
of
big
that
PR.
stuff land in the future, by the way. So he is all into the talk cards. But this one is there. So thank you so much.
Yeah, it's really cool.
Thank you.
I still use that same entity for the screenshot. That's why I knew it didn't work. That doesn't matter. Anyways. Oh, yeah. Somebody's saying I'm already updating. Saw something coming by that. The release is out already. So you can update if you want to. Like, it's available now for update. Everything you see right now, you can just play with in your own instance. So
yeah, but you got to pay attention. So actually, no, you can't.
After the stream, you can click the update button.
Right?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
The only button you need to click right now is the thumbs up button down below.
Oh yeah, like and subscribe.
Oh, we're getting the hang of this, like a real YouTuber at this point. Yeah. Anyways.
We have a banner for this, but we don't.
No, we don't. No, we have a banner for the newsletter, which you also should subscribe to, by the way.
All right.
Anyways, options for the default dashboard. I'm going to give this to you, Paulus, because I know you have an awesome dashboard to showcase this one on.
I'm super stoked about this. So this is my dashboard. This is my home dashboard. And, I'm always making sure that I get like an experience to how experience Home Assistant, how, users that don't configure much see it, right? So I'm always using the default dashboard. And of course, if you use the default dashboard, you've noticed that the areas, they would be sorted alphabetically. We would show a lot of entities, even entities that you didn't want. And so we've been adding features over the last year or two to kind of help clean it up. So we added categories. So if an entity category is diagnostic or configuration, it will no longer show on your dashboard, and also on the device info page, it's nicely grouped. We allowed you to introduce hidden entities. So for example, you could say this entity, just don't show it anywhere, but I still want to be able to interact with it in automations, but don't show it in selectors or in my dashboard. And it has helped a ton. But we actually realized we could do more. And so Paul has created this new, very cool feature that allows us now to add options to dashboards to influence how the dashboard is going to generate the dashboard, like how the dashboard is generated based on your information. And so there are 3 options here. First of all, this is all available in the YAML as well. This is just quickly, this is the YAML that I have. This is the control. So the first, I'm going to focus on the second and third option first. The second one is hide entities without area. If you don't have a device in an area, we tended to group all your entities by the type. So you would have a card with lights, card with switches, and it was kind of useless. Like if it didn't put it in an area, you probably did not care enough about it for your dashboard. So now an easy toggle, those entities are gone. Then there were also people that didn't like the energy card to be automatically added as a summary to your dashboard. So also we added that as a toggle. Boom, it's gone. But there was actually one more thing that was more annoying for people, and that was your areas. You wanted to reorder your areas and you wanted to hide areas. So Paul has dig deep into his toolbox, and he built this very cool new, what do you call it? A sorter / hider shower of areas. And so
area sorted dropper selector.
Yeah. So in the background, you see, for example, now living room is number 1, but maybe I want the offices in number 1 because that's where I am right now. Maybe I want to hide living room completely. I'm going to hit submit, save. And as you can see now, living room is gone. Office is on the number 1 spot. And what is so great about this is that this allows you to tune your dashboard that is automatically generated to more how you like it, which means there's less reason for you to take control. Because when you would turn manual mode on for your dashboard, you would take control. The problem is always you add a new device, you move stuff around. You have to manually update that in your dashboard now. So now you're able to longer use the default dashboard. And this kind of has come with like another change. And that is nowadays, if you are on your dashboard page, and so there's a bunch of, you can create as many dashboards as you want, probably, as you know. But now when you click an add dashboard, you will actually be able to see different dashboards that you have installed so you can either start from scratch or you can use the default dashboard. It is actually possible to have other dashboards also, like that can be shared. This feature exists for like a couple of years. It hasn't really got much traction. They're called strategies, and that's how they're registered. And they're like custom cards. You have like custom dashboards, and you will be able to. We hope that with allowing you dashboards to show options, and like they will end up in this list in the future as well. You will be able to actually easily share dashboards, create dashboards, and build whatever you want.
Yeah. And, so basically the same as how you get cards now and add extra cards or things like blueprints or whatnot. It would have a possibility in the future to add extra dashboards then, like prefab dashboards in a certain team or thing.
Yeah.
Is that the idea, right?
Yeah, for example, maybe you want to have a dashboard organized by areas, or maybe you want to have a maintenance dashboard, or an environment dashboard, security dashboard, printer dashboard. We have a lot of ideas, as you can hear. But
by the way, we're also doing a lot of research about this. So
yes.
We're absolutely not there yet. For today and for this release, I think this little selector is now really helpful, because previously, if you want to create an empty dashboard, you had to go like create a default one and then edit it and take control and select that you wanted to have empty one. Right now, you can just say, give me an empty one. I think that's good. And that will build you a manual dashboard from scratch.
Yeah.
And the second thing, that's the first part Paulus showed. We'll be able to share dashboards? I think we are.
Yeah, so you can today. So it's just the way dashboards are generated on the fly. It's called strategies. It is possible to share those strategies, but it's not going to be possible through Home Assistant, because we don't like JavaScript being exchanged hands easily, because it's a security issue.
It is code.
Yeah, it's code. So
it is code.
We don't know exactly how we're going to empower sharing, or maybe that is going to be a feature that will be available in hacks. We still are kind of like balancing all the options, but for now, there's definitely going to be more dashboards coming, both from community and built in.
Hey, Paulus, I wanted to ask a question about the first thing you showed. You had your default dashboard. You had those nice options there.
Yeah.
So, but why would we do this? Why would you keep your auto-generated dashboard, right? Most people will just start an empty one and then build your own.
Well, for me, it's just the maintenance being automatic, right? So I will move things around, rename areas, add entities, hide entities, and messing with templates and stuff. And it's like, you don't want to update your dashboard the whole time. You just want to make sure that it picks up the latest information, and dashboard options allows that.
And also what we found out in our research, so we're doing continuously research on a lot of stuff, and one of the pain points we found out, or we are basically already knew, was that for new users to have a great dashboard, it's pretty hard, right? So the idea is to have a great default dashboard like this overview page, and with settings like this, we help also these kind of users, or users that, like Paulus, doesn't want to spend a lot of time on creating dashboards, want to spend time on automating or other stuff. So that's also cool.
So
basically, a new user could be using the generated default dashboard for longer without diving into like the rabbit hole of dashboarding, right? Because it is a rabbit hole, just like automations. You can go nuts if you want to, but being able to like tweak it a little bit might help those people to hang around for longer.
Yeah,
on the default.
Yeah, I've selected a question from Duco. Hi, Duco, by the way. Thanks for all your contributions to the Home Wizard stuff.
And Picnic.
Sorry, and?
And Picnic.
Oh, Duco is the one behind Picnic. Oh, yeah.
Oh.
That's cool. We'll get back to that one later for sure. So yes, you can add the default dashboard. So here I'm doing the Duco special, creating it, and like, I'll go edit. Maybe I'll just hide everything. But my 3D printer, I don't know where it is. Oh, at the bottom. Boom. And now I have a dashboard that just shows everything about my 3D printer, which is not turned on. So it's all broken. But yeah.
The Duco special.
So yes, it is totally possible to have many different instances. Like you can just create as many dashboards as you want with different options. In a way, you can see it really like cards, right? Or like pages. You can just add as many pages as you want. You can add as many dashboards as you want. Okay. Yeah, I think that's it for dashboards, right? It's really cool, and there's going to be a lot more cool stuff coming without spoiling it too much.
Oh, I think we spoiled enough. Anyways, the future is bright on dashboard side.
Yeah.
So that's good.
Oh, here there's somebody's asking what my environment dashboard is about, and it's really just right now it's too many graphs, but it's I plot out like temperature, humidity, these kind of stuff. Yeah. This is, by the way, I'm answering a few questions. So we do strategies per view. That's actually possible. There are a few strategies. There are dashboard strategies. We're just trying to get rid of the word strategy, so we need to kind of figure out how we're gonna represent that. But yeah.
Right. All right. What else? Quickly scan if you missed something. I don't think so. I think it was pretty complete.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. This one deserves just a live demo too. Let me do it.
You got it?
Yeah, I got it. I got something. Let me go to my history page.
Oh wow!
All right.
What kind of page navigation quick jump? You just do
this
that?
will always throw some people. I'm pretty sure somebody is watching right now. What the did he do? If you hit like the C, the command key on your keyboard, you can actually navigate around in the whole system. The C from command on your keyboard. And I typed history, and there I was.
Yeah. And if you just, for the record, if you press E, you get an entity picker. Yeah.
The E from entity, which you can find in alignment. Yep. Pretty helpful. Anyways, we're in the history dashboard. And if you've ever used it, then if I pick up my climate of living room, for example, and then on my climate, the sensor temperature sensor. I should have a temperature sensor in my living room. Living room temperature. There it is.
Oh yeah.
This is from today. So yeah. And this is what we call state history. So Home Assistant stores data in two different ways. One is the state history, which is a detailed way of every little single change that Home Assistant had in the past time. And in this case, for this temperature sensor, that would be the temperature value. Right? The problem with this history graph for many was if you selected the longer period to show, data would drop off. It would just stop. In my case, I've set it to 3 days. So after 3 days, data is just being removed. But by default, it's 10 days, if I'm correct, Paulus, right?
Yeah.
So if you go back in history more than 10 days, the graph would just end. It would just stop, and you could not see anything. So what Carwatts, or his real name is Tim, I believe, did is, he did something really cool. Let's say this month.
Nice.
Look at
so
what's happening here. This was a long month. Yeah, it's December. So not a long month at all, by the way, but it doesn't matter. This example is really good visible right now.
Yeah.
You can see the darker part here which indicates like the detailed history, the detailed recent history we still had. So that's really fine grained. But what he did, he also like now queries and gets data from our long-term history storage. So the long-term statistics that Home Assistant stores is originally created for the energy dashboard way back like a couple of years ago. And that long-term statistics actually stores a downsampled data of anything you have in Home Assistant. So for every hour, it calculates the average for a certain sensor or data point and stores just that average of that hour. And that gives you 24 records, database records a day per sensor, basically, which is super efficient because you can store tons of data for a really long time without huge database growth. We don't throw away that data. And what Tim did, he combined those two. So when the state detailed history stops, he continues with the long-term statistics data. You can see it more jacked here. That means the hourly values are here. But still, it gives you an idea of how it went.
All right, Frank, now just
Yes.
show the speed. What's the system you're running on?
Oh, this is a Home Assistant Yellow.
Okay,
It's
so let's do the
Raspberry
whole
Pi
year.
4 based.
Let's just
The whole
load it.
year.
The whole year.
Whole year.
Yeah.
Okay. This year.
Boom. What was that? 3 seconds?
It's mostly rendering time on my browser to render those data points.
Yeah.
But it is bloody fast.
It is
Yes, it
very,
is.
very, very fast. Like this is, now it doesn't matter, like, because the long-term statistics every hour, it just means that we have 24 data points a day. It means that for a year, I mean, we almost, this year means it's almost like it's 11 months and 6 days. So that just not that many points to load from the database. And so we're actually able to graph very fast, and you'll see it on the map or on the screen right now. It's you don't need 5-minute update intervals when you're looking at a whole year. You don't need that, right? So this is great. You can get a great overview of what's possible, of what happened.
Yep. I thought I had an outside one too. Would have been nice, but I cannot. Anyways, it's fast. It's cool.
Yeah.
One thing to notice is that what many people have done, by the way, and maybe if you're watching, you're one of those. So I'm going to bring it up. There are many people that change the recorder settings. This is a manual advanced configuration in YAML. So if you're one of those persons, then you should listen right now because this is interesting. If you purge your database, like you change that value from 10 to something big, for example, a year, 3, I've seen people changing it to a year just to make history work. Change that value back to 10 days or remove the configuration because you no longer need that value to be in your YAML configuration. You don't need that advanced option. And as a result, you will get a way faster history page. You will get an insanely smaller database and way faster and smaller backups. Like that's a win-win-win situation. You should remove that value. You should remove that configuration. If you've set the custom purge time, you should not. There's no need for it. Yeah. I think that's it.
So yeah, it's really cool. I think that if you have ever messed with it, just remove all your options. Just click the default. The SQLite database is fast. Just don't mess with the recorder. I use default settings and it's working great. How long? Yes.
My backups are 8 gigabytes for that reason. Exactly. And it should just be maybe like if you have an extremely extensive setup with a couple of years of data, it might be 100 max or something, but not 8 gigabytes. Sorry, go ahead, Paul.
Oh, no. Somebody asked, how long do the long-term statistics stay around? They forever, because it's so little data per entity that like it's not really worth purging it, right? So yeah, they stay around forever. This is if you go to the energy dashboard and you ever looked at the year view, you can do compare to last year. That's all possible because long-term statistics stay around forever.
Yep.
Yeah. Yeah.
730 days here. Well, you should not.
Don't do it.
Definitely should not. Don't do it. It's definitely not waste. It's a waste of like energy to even back up it.
Curious on what system he runs it. i7 NUC or something.
All right. That's the new, what did I call it? History dashboard showing long-term statistics. I think it's really helpful. Thank you so much, Tim. This is absolutely a good feature.
Alexander's asking, when I delete my auto purge, will delete what I configured before? Yep, because the default is 10 days. So if you are on 30 days, it will be purging the last.
It might take a while. Might take a while because it does in batches. So it like deletes like chunks of it slowly and nibbles off until it's like catched up. And then once a month, it like compacts the database. This is a weird thing. If you delete data from the database, you don't get back the space until you compact it. This is a weird database thing. We do that once a month. Automatically, Home Assistant does that once a month. So if you remove that setting, wait a month and everything will be cleaned up and small.
Right. All right, we're getting some database questions. Let's just really dive in. If you delete the database URL from the recorder, it will use the default setting, which is SQLite, just in your config folder. If you already had that manually configured, of course, it uses the same database. The database is just new, fresh created. Home Assistant doesn't sweat. It just continues. Let's see, how does InfluxDB fit now? I mean, same as this is not new data, right? We've done this data, actually. We've had this data around forever. We just made it very difficult to see. So it fits in just the same. Average values, we sum up all the numbers and divide it by the number of values.
We calculate min and max and other data as well.
Yeah, so we keep track. There's different kind of statistics, but for measurements, we do min, max, and the average, just normal average. For things that accumulate, so for example, how much your energy meter, your water meter, it will track the growth per hour, right? So if you went from your meter showed 100 at the beginning of the 5 minutes, and after 5 minutes 110, then we write 10, and so we know how much you've actually used in that period of time. And then of course that is all summed up when we wrap up the 5 to hourly statistics.
People are interested in graphs, looking at the comments.
Yeah,
that's cool.
Here's a question from Petra. What about on-off states that are not in long-term storage? Yeah, they will be lost. So
to be very, very fair, in general, you don't use those that way. Temperatures are nice to compare, but if the light switch was on or off, generally isn't that really interesting. Yeah. There could be use cases though, don't get me wrong, but most people will not need that.
We have had thoughts that even if we could since those don't change that often, we could keep those around and just only purge the sensors or something, but we haven't really explored that.
Average the amount of ons and offs per hour.
Clement asks, is this the default configuration? Is it packed in the backup? Yep, the default configuration is SQLite, which is in your configuration directory, and it's part of your backup.
Automatically cleaned and packed and done and compacted and all handled for you. It is by far, by the way, many people are using, I've seen a lot of people still using MariaDB. Back in the day, that would have been a better idea for Home Assistant because MariaDB was faster, but that's really no longer the case.
Did a lot of work to
if you run the default database is by far the best experience you can have. Yeah. It really is the fastest solution with Home Assistant, the most optimized one for sure.
Yeah.
All right.
One last question. How can you port your data from MariaDB to SQLite? We do not currently have a feature for that. There are, on the community forums, there are some guides to migrate it back. You got to be careful, though. You cannot just dump the structure that MariaDB uses or any other SQL dialect is different than SQLite. Basically, for every SQL variant, we have different schemes that are optimized for storing it. So don't just restore the structure, but you really have to migrate the data. The column names are the same and the data types are kind of similar, but you probably have to, there are migration scripts out there you would have to use.
Not for the faint of heart, by the way.
Yeah.
It's just saying. There's a reason why we don't have it yet. It's not that easy.
No.
All right.
Cool.
scroll down. What else is here? More text. Oh, the database mention is in here too. Oh, more on the to-do. We have more to do.
Yeah.
So last release, we introduced the to-do entity and the new to-do dashboard with the to-do lists and all the stuff to do. And people liked it, Paulus. Like a lot of people liked it, so that's good. However, people still want to have features for it, and we don't have that many this release, but we are working on a couple. But still, I wanted to give a little update, so I put it into the release notes. One of the things that people ask for a lot is to have a service that could list all the items on a list. Well, we did. Let me open up a tab again. Let me see if I can find something real quick. To do get to-do list items. For example, my
Picnic.
shopping list.
Shopping list.
No, I wanted to demonstrate picnic, but somebody just put in an order, I noticed. Anyways, so it's empty. Yeah.
You were so prepared. Oh,
I'm not kidding. I was prepared, but I just got a notification there was an order placed. Anyways, here is my my general shopping list, and you can see with the service call I get now back the data that's in the shopping list.
Nice.
Super cool, right? Something really cool in this release too, which is more of a side thing, but I'm going to show it while I'm still here, is that you could do, let me add picnic. I can now query if you do like automations or scripts or templating or whatnot. You can now query multiple entities at the same time. So in this case, I have two to-do list items or two to-do lists listed here. And if I call it, it will not return only the shopping list, but also my picnic one, which is, as expected, nicely empty. So that's cool. We can now query them.
Yeah.
Additionally, we added another one, another nice little service you can use in your automations, which is remove all completed items from a list.
Right. I miss picker.
Yes, that is fixed in the final release. So if I would have updated to the final version, then I would have been able to pick a list, and it would clean out the items for me from that list. So you could write an automation that automatically deletes the checked off items at the end of the day, for example. Pretty nice addition. Super cool.
Right. Can you show picnic? I think this is really cool because Picnic is like an online grocery platform in the Netherlands. And of course, the things you want to order at your grocery store, well, that's a shopping list, right? So there's the Picnic app.
Maybe I can maybe reorganize my screen so I can share my my app.
Why don't you just add milk to your shopping list and just see? Because there's some magic, right? This is not a normal to-do list.
So let's start with the thing. Yeah, the Picnic does an online store. So basically, this is not just a shopping list. This is my shopping cart at Picnic. And the thing is, you need to add actual products to that shopping cart, right? If I type milk, that's cool, but which milk? And what I really like what Duco did here, we saw him early in the chat, is if I would add milk, which is milk in Dutch, by the way, I have to do it in Dutch because it's a Dutch store. If I add milk right now, it will actually figure out to add the Picnic half full of milk how bar, which is like the milk variant I want. And so it will actually search the store. And
that's not really readable, I think.
That's not readable, right? But it actually created it and it added it to the card as that item, which is absolutely stunning. It will actually search the catalog and add it. I find that so cool.
We all develop in production, right? That's
yeah, basically yes.
Is this also based on your history or something like that? Because there are multiple brands of milk, I'm guessing.
I think
How
it
does that
does,
work?
if I understood it right. I think if you just be more specific, you will get more specific things. That's for sure.
Cool.
But
Yeah.
yeah,
So
no,
what I
it's just
what I really
go ahead.
think is really cool about this one is that it actually works with voice, right? So you would add something to your picnic shopping list, and boom, it actually will search picnic and add that item to your list, right? So the conversion of like, I want to buy milk, which milk do I want to buy? That is then now fixed for you. So yeah, that's really, really cool.
It's not ordering as well, right? So this is definitely putting it on your cart, but that's not the order. So if I have to push through the order still.
Right. Yeah. Here's another question that got asked. Is the due date feature for to-dos delayed for next release? So the interface is, I'm not sure, did we merge the backend in the end, Frank?
Yeah. So, by the way, I got them next to each other. Not as fast as Matthias, but still. Yes, we have the backend merged. So we have the ability to, that's the work in progress as well. We have due dates and we have descriptions. And those are merged, those are available. Those already work with all the services. So if you have like get items and it has that information that works, for example, from Google Tasks, but also setting a description and getting a description works, but we have no UI for it. So Madalena created a UI design for it, and we're planning on implementing it for the upcoming release.
Yeah, next year.
Next year, right? Yeah. Next year. Oh, that sounds so far away. That is cool. There's, by the way, another one I want to like show really quickly, because this is a new integration that we have added this this release. By the way, I have not used the paid version, so you see a lot of ads, which they now get like extra viewers for from countries they probably didn't target. Nevertheless, this is Our Groceries, and Our Groceries is an app for Android and iOS, and it now also works with Home Assistant. So this is an app you can share with your family members, and it will show up in Home Assistant. I believe it's this one or this one. I think it's this one.
This one.
Yeah, this one syncs. Just to show you how it works. Like we want to have chips, right? Like that's nom nom nom.
Boom! Instant.
Nice.
Yeah.
Super cool. So if you're like want to have a shopping list thingy you want to share on a different app with family members, that might be a way. Pretty nice. I believe it's open source even.
Nice.
No?
That's awesome.
Cool.
So yeah, I think I'm really stoked with the new like to-do list integration and how these new integrations are all hooking in. It's like, yeah, it's gonna be. I'm really looking forward to all the other stuff that's gonna be built on top.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Also, question: can it also do the other way around?
Yeah, everything gets synchronized also into Home Assistant, but it's not instant. I think Home Assistant checks polling if there's updates.
Depends on the integration as well.
True. Yeah.
Right. If you have an integration that uses like a real-time push connection, then it would just update instantly.
Yeah.
Our front end actually listens for it, so that would work. If you would open two Home Assistant instances next to each other, they would actually instant.
Which I love, by the way, because when I'm in the grocery store, we used to use the Google one because like Google Assistant, whatever, and it would like not sync. I would have to refresh. Did my wife already put this in, or should I get this? And,
right. Yeah. Also, shout out for this release is the CalDAV integration. The CalDAV integration now moved to the UI and also added support for to-do list. So if you use CalDAV, which I believe, what's it, QNAP? Technology?
I would say
or Nextcloud. What was it?
Nextcloud. Yeah, that's great because somebody just asked like to integrate task lists with Nextcloud. I think you can just use the CalDAV integration.
I think you can.
Solved within 5 seconds of asking.
That must be a new record. All right. Awesome.
Yeah.
That's all about to do. And this is a small one that came up in the last release party, actually.
Yeah.
the URL is now updated. So if you click on a certain page, a certain to-do list, the URL and URL bar is actually adjusted for that specific list. And if you share that URL with somebody else and it clicks on it, it will open up the same to-do list. That was a little thing that was missed last time.
Yeah.
We added it. Small, helpful, nice. All right.
Oh, reimport blueprints. This is a nice one. So blueprints are pre-made automations or scripts that we offer in Home Assistant. So a blueprint allows you to, as a creator of a blueprint, you take an automation, you offer a few options that the user can set, and those are then injected into your into the automation, and then you create multiple versions of the animation. And in a way, it's very much like the automated dashboards that we showed earlier. You can have many dashboards, you can have many automations, different options. And this has been great. We've introduced this in 2020, but we missed a small little feature, which was updates. So although you could import them through the UI, after that you were stuck. If the creator of the blueprint released an update, you would have to manually copy the YAML and override the YAML inside your Home Assistant instance.
You had to go into the file editor or VS Code to update it and copy paste that huge, humongous source of blob YAML you got from the community or wherever. That was really uncomfortable.
Yeah. And so we wanted to do a full, like, we wanted to do more with updates, but the reason we actually postponed it for this long was because updating a blueprint can actually break, because maybe there's a new option being added that is required. So you would update a blueprint and boom, 10 of your automations break and you would be angry, right? So we would have to catch when will it break or not. And that was kind of like the big blocker that we kept postponing this feature and again. Until this release. What we did in this release, we just said, you know what, we're not going to offer updates. We're just going to rebrand it. So we're calling it reimport. And by re-importing it, you're going to be responsible to making sure that it is backwards compatible, which, to be honest, is like 95% of the cases, it is backwards compatible. So yeah, there are multiple ways.
For the future, we still want to have actual updates, maybe somewhere in the future, right? Something that does something really well and checks for stuff that breaks and helps you update your actual blueprints. And also notifies you about an update, right? But right now, this is at least something we designed or made to remove that editing, copy, YAML file thingy, which is just majorly inconvenient.
Yeah.
So a good thing to know is that whenever you add a blueprint to Home Assistant, we actually, from the early days, we stored where it downloaded it and imported it from. And that's a really helpful thing right now because we added this little reimport feature.
Wait, we don't see your screen frame. Oh, there you are. Yeah.
Right. So, for example, and this even worse. This is like one that we deliver right from Home Assistant. And if you want to update that one if you want to like get the latest version of that YAML, you can now click the reimport button. You'll be warned because like if there's an incompatibility in there, it will break your automation. So that's like a warning. Reimport, and then it will say, boom, done.
Boom.
And I'm not sure where this one is coming from, but I could. Here we go. And this is my production system. I should just update everything because I have no idea what breaks right now. This is such a good idea.
So this not only
long-lived backups, but yeah.
If you go to import blueprint and the blueprint already exists, it will also offer you to import it. Yeah.
If you enter the same address of something that it already has, it will offer you the same question. Like, do you want to override it?
Yeah.
Super simple, super helpful.
Yeah. Now, this is a great improvement.
There we go. So that's it for the big ones. Other noteworthy changes. let me see what's really interesting here. I know a lot of people have the IKEA i1000. Is it i1000 desks? It now has a height sensor. It now has a height sensor, so that's good. ESP Home, like Beat Draco has been on it. You know what's happened, right? It is lightning fast and such. What is impressive is ESP Home itself, though.
Yeah, ESP Home was already very fast, and now it's even faster. Like it's the things that ESP Home does to be fast is like it's really cool. For example, if ESP Home is disconnected and your device comes online, we immediately see it like, oh, I'm online, and that advertising instead of like retrying if the device is online, when we see the device advertise itself, boom, we connect, and all the different like handshakes and communication has all been optimized. So really cool.
Yep. I find really interesting is this is not Home Assistant related, more ESP Home related. But if you have the ESP Home dashboard with a bunch of devices and you open it now, it's like instant with like, is everything online and such? Yeah. I'm not sure what he did there, but it is like, that's such a cool thing. Anyways, ESP Home got a lot of love.
He casually rewrote the web server of the whole dashboard, but
just casually contribution, right?
Yeah.
All right. Many people have been waiting for maps from the Roborock vacuums. So that's there. If you want to have like a beautiful map on your dashboard, that's cool. This one we highlighted really quickly during the to-dos, but services now support multiple return values for multiple entities. Really nice. This one I was pinged about by iMic, which I think is absolutely stunning because we like to see these things.
Yeah.
Somfy Tahoma added a local API, and the Overkiss integration now supports it too. So Somfy, thank you so much for adding a local API. It's nice to see a manufacturer actually doing that. Yeah, that's a nice turnaround.
That's cool.
I would say. YAML. I need to talk about it. I know, like that, like it's like a really advanced thing. Do you see it nowadays? No, there are many people that still like to write their automations in YAML. I'm one of those, by the way. I'm not going to lie. I like that a lot. And if you've ever built like advanced structure in YAML with multiple includes and packages and whatnot, you'll definitely know you will definitely recognize this. You made an error somewhere in your YAML. You try to check your configuration or read at Home Assistant, and you have an error in file ? This happened to me so many times, and then you have to like dig where this is coming from. Eric actually figured all this all out. It's now perfect. It's working fine. It will actually tell you and pinpoint exactly where the error is, no matter how deep your includes are or how complex you made your config. It just works. And it gives you like now beautiful, good error messages too. It's no longer like, I don't know what kind of representation it was, but it's now human readable and like actually good.
That's very nice.
Super nice though. Tim, this is a thing from Tim. He created a UI where you can select a selector. Does it make sense? This is like the inception. I probably shall I show that?
Yeah,
it does. Last live stream I did a script, right? And I added a script with a field, and I started typing the YAML from a script. And Paul has made a little comment on he's doing this all by heart, right? If you now add a field to a script, for example, a message or whatnot, doesn't matter. There's now a selector here to define the selector of this field. So you can tell it that it might be a number, and then it will be a number between 1 and 100 with a step value of 5. Here we go. It now steps in 5. We have defined this input for this field. That could also be a text. And then you can...
It's really cool. I mean, it makes it very easy. So yeah, if you're the kind of person who writes scripts, now it's even easier.
Yeah. So if you add fields to scripts, you can do it fully in UI now, which is absolutely cool. Just a nice little cool addition. But having a selector feels so weird. That's super cool. Last but not least, something by Jan Bouwage. How do you say that in English? J. Bouwage?
Jipu.
Jipu. Oh, nevertheless, Jan, thank you so much. But Jan added a way to make errors translatable. So user-facing errors, things you see in the UI, we can change those, show those differently from the technical errors, so we can make less technical errors in the UI. And above all, they are translatable. You won't see them that much, but I'm sure there will be more in the upcoming future because it's now there. It's now possible to provide that, and we'll in reviews we'll ensure it's there, and we'll migrate a lot of them as well. But I think this is a very important feature to have and move forward to make things more accessible for people. New integrations.
Yeah, new garage. It's good.
Yeah, your garage door openers. Well, that's a good message because I have another one we're going to talk about in a minute.
For every garage door that we have to kick out, we get like 3 back.
Probably yes.
For real, we've had a little incident with a certain garage door brand, which luckily for the owners of that brand, there's an ESP Home alternative that you can get. But we actually seen a lot of interest from garage door manufacturers reaching out to us, asking like, "Hey, how can we get this integration better, more official?" So lots more updates, hopefully in the future. And well, you can see already Linear came in.
Linear is there. My Permobil, I hope I pronounce it right, by the way. I think this is a absolutely stunning and nice integration. It provides sensors for Permobil wheelchairs. And if there's any application for Home Assistant, I think it is one to help people with disabilities, right? And to automate and make life easier. And being able to provide data for things like this, I think is absolutely amazing. So, yeah, this is cool to see.
About accessibility, that's a really big thing for Home Assistant. We talked to a bunch of users that uses the Home Assistant in a way that isn't shown on Reddit, kind of like a fancy dashboard, but it really improves the quality of life. That's so amazing to see.
Yep,
and with
definitely.
this kind of integration, that's even cooler.
That's super.
I'm just gonna. I was just looking at the Permobil. Like,
Oh,
it's nice. It's actually like it's very similar to an electric car. This statistic, right? Like,
Oh, you're right.
but it's great. You can also charge it when your electricity is cheaper. And this is very cool.
That's really helpful. You can automate a lot with that.
Yeah. I wonder, does it have Wi-Fi, or you think it has a GSM? So you're always connected.
No. All right.
This is a fun fact, named after the inventor. Permobil, yeah.
Yeah, why not? Our groceries, we showed it for a little. Is there a V2C for an EV charger, I believe. So, yeah. Integrations that move to the UI, CallDev, we already talked about that a little bit. Fast.com, in case you want to know how fast your connection is, I monitor that. And Ping, which some people use to monitor or know if people are at home for a device tracker, for example.
I just want to do a quick note on Fast.com. The way a speed test works is by downloading a big file and then testing how fast it downloaded. So if you're adding Fast.com to your UI, like to a Home Assistant, and then you will see a huge bandwidth increase because Home Assistant will try to download like a 400 megabyte file every
as
hour.
Fast as possible.
And so it's great that you get this knowledge, but it will also actually slow down your internet connection while this test is happening, because the goal is, of course, to max out your internet speed. So use it carefully, I would say.
Agree.
Yeah.
All right, so that's it. What else do we have here? We have the backwards incompatible changes. And I see some faces already here. Like, hey, what's happened here? So we changed the name, basically, from breaking changes to backwards incompatible changes. And is it different? No. Why did we do it? Because, like, back in the day, Home Assistant, this would actually change if you didn't change this before upgrading. Home Assistant wouldn't start. Like, back in the day, that was just a thing. We only had YAML configuration, and if you didn't change your YAML before upgrading, Home Assistant would just die. Like, that was just how it worked, right? But we're not. This is not the way Home Assistant is anymore. We now have the repairs, the repair centers. We have serious deprecation methods and deprecation periods as well. We will inform you via dashboards. And most of the things that are in here nowadays are just little changes that are either you have time to change or not necessarily breaking all the things. So we've renamed it to a little bit more friendly, backwards incompatible changes. Sorry, backward. It's American, right? Backward incompatible changes. Yeah. That's it.
Definitely check them out.
The big ones here to notice would be calendar and weather. Because calendar and weather changed or deprecated the service. So again, this is a deprecation. The old one is still functioning. Weather.cat forecast. If you use this service, you will get a notification. You will get a repair issue raised in your repair center. But we've basically replaced it with weather.cat forecast. The same goes for the calendar list items. And we've done this to support the multiple target entities when querying a service. And this is a design flaw we made with the first two services we released, which is weather.cat forecast and calendar.cat list items. And the only way to resolve this is by creating the right new service, which we are sorry for that this happened, but yeah, we need to get this out of the way. And we've done it in such a way that there's a deprecation period possible.
Yeah.
Another thing in this list that I should... Oh, no, that's lower. That's the farewell to the following. My queue has been removed.
Yeah.
Surprise.
Didn't see it coming.
Yeah.
No, we didn't see it coming. We haven't heard back from them even after all of this, right?
No.
Nothing.
Darn.
No.
And the EQ3 Bluetooth smart thermostats integration has been removed. It was non-functional. It dated from the days before we had all the new shiny Bluetooth stuff. It's just non-functional. Time to clean it up.
Yeah.
Then one little thing maybe to highlight still is the Home Wizard Energy. If you use that stuff, there's a little breaking change in here, which is mostly because they had duplicate entities, and we made the integration better this month too.
Is it platinum yet?
It is absolutely platinum. Duco did a great job there. There's Duco again.
Yeah.
I'm trying to create a bridge here, by the way.
I know. I'm looking to see where you're going. The thing is,
crying out for help. That is just it.
So the reason that Frank's talking about Home Wizard Energy here is that Home Wizard is actually joining the Works with Home Assistant program and is our newest partner, and we're super excited about it. So
it's cool.
A lot of people who are watching the stream won't know what Home Wizard is, so let me explain a little bit. And thank you, Frank, for showing it as well. Home Wizard is a Dutch company, and they make Wi-Fi devices that help you track your energy consumption. So your electricity, your water, your gas, and these little devices you see here, the one that's currently on the screen, it's called a P1 meter. And the P1 is a standard that's popular in Europe. It's in the energy meters. That's from like the energy company in your house. And you can just plug it in, and it starts sending the data to your home assistant to use in your energy dashboard. So real time. It's really, really cool. I really like how Home Wizard got here because, we already talked about Duco. We're going to highlight you a few more times, Duco. Duco works for Home Wizard, and Duco works on these meters, and Duco wanted to use these meters in his home assistant, so he started building an integration for it, as you do as an engineer working on your own stuff. And it got popular. More people started using it, and he listened to the Home Assistant community as he worked on it. So it started getting a local API. It got a function to actually turn off cloud communication so that it's only working with Home Assistant and not sending stuff over to another place outside of your home. Like all these things were really well thought through, and Home Wizard saw the power of that, adopted it officially, and became a partner. I'm so happy to see that a company like looks at this and then agrees with it and just wants to really go for it. So they have this thing that's the P1 meter. That's an electricity meter. There's more European countries that have this standard, but not all of them. And some have P1 ports that are locked down a bit, so you can't always connect them straight. You have to like get an access key from your energy company or something. But it looks, as Frank is showing, like this when you're inside of Home Assistant. This is your... sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, this is my actual...
Yeah, this is your current like live...
Yes.
And
I've been using it.
That little button at the bottom, the little switch at the bottom.
That's the coolest.
Yeah.
This is such unique. Like you can just like turn off cloud communication.
Yeah.
Please note that the communication Home Assistant has with all the Home Wizard devices is fully local. So yeah, you can turn off the cloud. But I turn it on because I think they have some really cool features that I want to use. But if I want to have more privacy, I could turn it off.
Exactly. So they have the P1 meter, which in the Netherlands at least also connects to our smart gas meters. I'm, to be honest, not sure if that's a thing in every country where they have a P1, but for us it works. They also have, if you scroll down a little bit on this page, they have the water meters.
Yeah, there's this one.
Yeah, that one.
Oh, yeah.
So these work on the analog water meters with a little spinny, disky thingy. Again, like if the mounting holes match up with your water meter, it's a good chance that this will also work for you. And Frank, do you happen to have the big 3-phase meter by hand?
Yes.
But you installed it, right, or not? Oh, you have a second.
No. I have a single phase installed. The big one hasn't been installed this week. I should have done that. Can I get a larger screen for myself?
Even bigger?
Yeah, myself. As in, I can want to show a product.
Like this.
Yeah, that's fine too.
That's the 3-phase kilowatt-hour meter. So this one is DIN rail mounted, so it goes into your fuse box, and then it can do energy measurement without having to have access to like a P1 meter or anything. It just goes in between. Yeah. So also very cool.
So the cool thing about this one is, by the way, you're not like the P1 meter, you have to have a matching meter that works, right? But this, if you're just within the voltage range, which is 230 to 400 volts AC, you could use it on a DIN rail. So this is like usable in most countries except the 110 or 120 volt ones.
Yeah. So that's the news about Home Wizard joining the Works with Home Assistant program. Like I said, I'm super hyped. Oh, that's right. Frank is showing off another.
I got a bunch of them. This is the wall plugs.
It's good to know. Like, why does Home Assistant have all? Like, why does Frank have all these devices? Is that for companies to become Works with Home Assistant partners, they have to send us their products, right? And we will actually test them, make sure they work with Home Assistant. We make sure that everything works as it should be, and also if there are bugs found or reported, one of the requirements of the Work with Home Assistant program is that our engineering team has a direct line to their engineering team. So if we establish it's a bug on their side, we can actually escalate and make sure it gets fixed.
Not really usable with Home Assistant, but I still think it's cool is their energy display, because I think makes you so aware of what's going on, and I think it's beautiful. By the way, Duco, I know you're watching. We want to have an API on this one for a Home Assistant.
Yeah, we want our own entities.
This is just cool. We want our own entities on it. No, but this is beautiful. No, I'm really happy with most of the stuff from them. I've been testing it, as Paul has pointed out, and I absolutely I love their devices. Some of them are installed in my utility and fuse box, and I will keep them there. I'm definitely loving them. So
Same here.
Yeah.
Like I can't show any to the camera because all of mine are in my fuse box, so it's hard to demo them then. Yeah. Thanks, Duco.
Cool.
We really love this.
thanks, Home Wizard, for
And thanks,
adopting
Home
and
Wizard.
doing this all right. That's just
Of course.
amazing.
All right. Next
Yeah.
up is, I thought I wanted to share this screen for a second, just to give a small status update.
Oh.
People have been asking, Raspberry Pi 5 was announced not so long ago. What is the progress? The good news is that we have a bootable image. However, not everything is working yet, so we have not fully released this yet. There's, again, still no timeline. I cannot make any promises. But we got the first step, which is booting the image. But if, as you might know, or maybe not, Home Assistant operating system is built in a way that we can, it always has a backup version. So if an update fails, it will launch from the last installed version of the Home Assistant operating system. This system is currently not working yet with the Raspberry Pi 5 support, so that's why it's not officially released yet. And this feature is very critical, of course, because an update should never render your system unusable. So Home Assistant has many different layers, checks to make sure we can roll back to a version, including in our operating system. So Raspberry Pi 5 is coming, not yet here. You could maybe install this image, but the chances are that you won't get any updates. So
It's not viable for production, that's for sure.
don't do it, but yeah, it's coming. It is coming. Another thing that we actually haven't mentioned yet is, or we did kind of casually mention it, Year of the Voice, Chapter 5 is coming. It will be our final chapter. It will be happening next week, same channel, same location, time. You want to stay in the loop, make sure you like and subscribe downstairs.
Chapter 5. You should tune in.
It will be really cool. We got some cool stuff. It's and I also just want to say that, like, although we had Year of the Voice and our goal was to get people to control Home Assistant in their own language, we're not going to stop with voice next year, right? It's not like, whoa, no more. There will, it's not going to be Year of the Voice, but voice is just going to be an ongoing part of the Home Assistant ecosystem and smart home world. So definitely there will be more cool stuff coming. But first, tune in next week to see what is coming this year. Yeah. Other cool things. Thinking.
You had something cool, by the way.
Oh,
I saw
I got
yeah, I did.
Overpowered thermostat in the history of thermostats.
You have a beautiful car to control it now.
Yeah. So I got a new thermostat. It's powered by ESP Home. Keith made it. Keith, KBX81. He's one of the maintainers of ESP Home. He also works full-time at Nabukasa on ESP Home. And he made a thermostat that is really cool. And the reason it's really cool is because it's actually user-friendly. It has a touch screen. You can look up at data. But it also pushes all this data to Home Assistant, which means that I have a lot of control myself. So I already, it can do a lot more. I've already kind of pruned the ESP Home config because it was pushing too much stuff. Of course, the basis, of course, is a thermostat because that's what it does. Heating. I only have heat in my house. I don't have an AC system. Now, there's a display. It has automatic brightness, all this brightness, display on motion. It has a motion sensor. Of course, I can just turn on the heat, but outside and bypass the whole thermostat if I feel like it. Keith thought it was interesting to see how all the different temperature sensors perform. So my thermostat has every temperature sensor that ESP Home supports built in. I personally have started using the BME 680. But yeah, there you can see there's a lot of them. But the UI is actually really cool because it allows you to include different temperature sensors of different rooms. I have instead of showing you, I'm going to just show Keith's video that he made. It's 2 minutes, so it's really cool. This is a 3D printed enclosure around like a custom produced PCB that has like all the stuff on it. And yeah, let me just play.
Hey, just to give you a quick little demo of what you're getting into here. So this is a 7-inch one. The 5-inch is identical in terms of the UI because they're, for all intents and purposes, the same guts. So, but I have this set up so it just kind of splits the screen in half. The left is the outside conditions and the right is inside. And, you know, in terms of responsiveness, you just kind of touch these and it does to change the modes. This is capacitive, so it's a lot more responsive than the resistive ones. And then I have down here a little page change, and this will show you the temperatures in other areas of your dwelling, home, be it, you can kind of set this up how you want. But the way this works is these are all Home Assistant sensors. So basically it just reads when a sensor in Home Assistant updates, it immediately kicks it over here. And so you see it as they refresh. If you watch them for a sec, you might even see a couple of them change here. So yeah, that's kind of it. This outside one is the outside temperatures. This is actually pulling from I have one of those Eco weather stations outside. So
good ones
here are what that's reporting. So you have temperature, humidity, air quality, pressure, barometer, high and low, and then the conditions gives you a little icon. So it looks pretty. And then if you tap the temperature, it will give you all the sensor readings because I put a bunch of sensors in here because I didn't know what I wanted to use. So you just put them all. I think that's about it. It has a light sensor. So at night, the display will dim, so it's not blinding you. And then there's also a microwave radar sensor in here. So when you walk by it, the display will increase intensity just a little bit so you can see it. And when you walk away and don't touch it for a couple of minutes, it kind of dims back down. So yeah, there's a slot for the SD card if you need to rescue the display. If something gets screwed up, there's a couple buttons on the bottom, and a USB, micro USB, because I did these before we were getting into USB-C. The design's a few years old now, but in any event, I've been using these for about 3 or 4 years now, and I love them. I put them in my folks' house. They love them too. So, yeah.
Mom is happy, and you made it.
It's really cool. So yeah, no, it's my wife likes it too, and so yeah. And I think the coolest feature of it is that you can whatever it uses current temperature, you can pull in also from Home Assistant. So basically, I'm setting it up that I can choose which kind of rooms are important. Then it will pull those rooms into ESP Home and set it as the current temperature, so that it will start heating till those rooms hit the target temperature. And if it's not connected to a Home Assistant, it's going to fall back to just one of the many temperature sensors on the thermostat. So yeah, it's really nice. It's open source, so I don't think Keith is selling them. I bribed him, so that's. But yeah, no, you can order them. I think on JLPCB. I think it's all open source, so it's really cool. And yeah, it just shows that ESP Home we build it sometimes for like smaller projects or like some more custom ready-made projects, like the voice assistant that you can just install with a single click. But actually, you look at projects like this, and this is 1,500 lines of YAML. But it's possible, right? So okay. Yeah.
It's kind of cool what you can do with the ESP Home, by the way. It is an amazing piece of software, and being able to combine like that hardware, whatever you want, and build like any device you actually want, right? That's just amazing.
Somebody's asking for the link. I'm just gonna quickly I'm gonna share a tab. Here it is.
The climate sprinkler controller.
Yeah, so it also works for sprinklers.
Nexion displays. Oh, right.
It's kind of cool because, of course, it's ESP Home. You don't actually need a display. If you just only want to control your thermostat and Home Assistant, you can just get like a small ESP device, right, and just connect it to it. Yeah. So very, very sweet. Yeah. ESPO is awesome.
Very much is.
All right.
All right.
What any other new gadgets? I have one more gadget. Besides my thermostat, I've also gotten into smart locks. And so I got the Yale Azure Smart Lock, the first generation, not the second generation, because the first generation is more stable from our experience in the community. And it's actually cool because it has works over Bluetooth, and then there's a Bluetooth to Wi-Fi bridge that goes to the Yale cloud. And then Home Assistant can actually log into the Yale cloud to get the local keys to talk with the Bluetooth proxy to the lock. So I have a local lock. I can do all the stuff I want. It also has a PIN code so that you can just enter when you're in front of the door without a phone. But also we can add new codes through the phone app easily. So yeah, I've been digging it.
I've been looking at a smart lock. I always said I don't want one. But lately, somehow, I don't know.
I mean, your car
Starts
doesn't have
itching.
a physical key anymore, and then
No, but it also has
Not-
issues, but that's a different problem. Anyways, no, I have car troubles, but and nevertheless, no, yeah, you're right. That's true in a way. I don't know. It's just a weird feeling I have. Like in the end, right? You can't just pick up a brick and throw it in a window. That's way easier than even worrying about those locks. But yeah, I don't know. But lately, it started itching, and I've been looking at some of the locks. So Yale is one of them, and Nuki is popular, I believe. And in the Netherlands, you have, or at least
I've got a
Nuki is locked.
3 Pro, and it's got MQTT. That's really nice. So it's local. Yeah, it's pretty cool.
That's cool.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah, I think
I've been looking at locked. Marcel has that one. And I found one which is sold in this city. I even know, but the company is close by me. It's Smart Clink. Never heard of it. But it looked interesting. Maybe I'm going to go by for a cup of coffee and say hi or something. I don't know.
It's it's interesting because locks are very much region specific, kind of like what kind of door locks are being used, right? So the things available in the US are not per se available in Europe. And I've seen some wild ones in Europe that are big. Like my one is like this. It's just a tiny deadbolt, really, and the doorknob is separate from it.
Yeah, that's cool. That's really cool.
Yeah,
that's nice.
The Nuki makes an awful sound, almost that hard that it wakes up my kids. It's yeah.
Yeah. I like the. I don't know. Have you seen the SwitchBot one? SwitchBot has one. I think it works over Bluetooth. And you put it on top of an existing deadbolt. So it just, the SwitchBot is also the one that presses buttons. It can also rotate locks.
Yeah.
I thought it was smart.
Smart,
yeah. Yeah, and there is lock support coming to Matter, right? So you could hold out for a year, and then there will be some Matter smart locks.
Nuki, that's already in Matter lock, right?
Oh, it's already out?
Yeah.
The new Nuki 4, I believe. Yeah.
Yeah, the 4.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's cool. Cool.
Yeah,
well, let me know how it works for you, how the lock works in general.
There's actually,
over time.
About smart locks, there's one thing. There was the CSA Alliance, which is the alliance behind Zigbee and Matter, recently announced a new smart lock standard, which is not Matter, but it is more like an NFC-based standard. And I think HomeKey was going to be compatible with that. So Apple has their smart lock standard, and it looked like they're rolling this into a more global standard such that it can be used on Android as well or other devices. And so you have locks today. You can tap with your Apple Watch or your Apple phone and unlock. And then you would also be able to do that with Android, which I think is cool because Apple always builds these technologies that are Apple only. And then everybody needs an Apple device in your house. And then the HomePod doesn't work well with Spotify and that kind of stupid things. So I'm glad to see this becoming open standards. Yeah. But talking about CSA Alliance, in case people are not reading every blog post that we put out religiously, we just published a report, Marcel and Stefan.
Stefan.
They've been to Geneva, Switzerland, and they went to the CSA member meeting. So they met a lot of Matter manufacturers, and it was actually really cool. So one of the things that we heard from a lot of engineers that are working on smart home at different other companies, that they are actually using Home Assistant themselves, often because they are smart home power users, right? And if you are a power user, whatever system you're working on, eventually you will end up with Home Assistant for the most flexibility and awesomeness. But there's also manufacturers that are using, that are developing Matter devices that are using Home Assistant for testing, because our server is the most flexible and has the best diagnostics. So you want to see if the device works well. Matter.
It's open source, right? And we have all documentation there, and like it's aimed for developers to easily jump in and work on. So that's a benefit they get from using an open source product like Home Assistant, which is helpful.
Yeah.
Should we also talk about the little thing we hid in that blog post? We can't demo it because we don't have the Eve plugs here, but
yeah.
Oh, that actually was in this release last minute. I should have mentioned it.
Oops.
Bad
So
from my end.
There's a the Matter standard is like 1 year old, and they do a release every 2 months, every 6 months, sorry, twice a year. And one of the things that has not been launched yet, which is really annoying, is energy monitoring. So a lot of smart plugs exist, but the smart plugs often have energy monitoring. If you come from a Zigbee or Z-Wave or Wi-Fi world, and then you want to use a Matter plug, no energy monitoring. And so that was annoying. Luckily, well, I'm not sure lucky. I'm not 100% happy with it, but it's kind of okay still. Matter supports, just like Zigbee does, a way. They have an official way to include unofficial standardized data. So what does it mean? Energy monitoring is not standardized yet. Eve is a company that makes smart plugs. They are actually publishing their energy monitoring data in their own format all over the Matter network. And we've actually worked with Eve. They've given us access to the format of their data, and we collaborated so that Eve energy data can now also be seen in Home Assistant. This is good. It is good because previously you only could see it in the Eve app, and in Home Assistant it was just only a toggle. Of course, we hope that we are going to switch to just Matter official once Matter energy monitoring comes out one day.
Inevitable.
It will come. I think they're just like, standards move very slow because it's like the biggest design by committee in the world, right? Like every company that does something with energy, either in the consumption or producing it or monitoring anywhere, has an opinion, and everything has to fit in. And energy data also has the tendency to swamp your network. Like if you look at a P1 meter, it gives you multiple measurements a second. Now, of course, the device you use to read out your P1 meter, either a Home Wizard or a Slimmer laser, decides to already throttle that, like maybe 1 measurement per second. But even 1 measurement per second is gonna like swamp your Matter network, right? Especially if it's going over thread. So yeah, there needs to be some caution built in, I think. So it's coming, and for Eve, it's already there.
And it's kind of like a premiere, right? Like before this, you needed the Eve app to see that data. And I think just at the same time that we launched it, Samsung also has access to the data, so SmartThings can also see it. So we share the premiere of this new ability. But still, it's really awesome. So if you have Eve Matter plugs, congratulations, you can now see them in Home Assistant.
Yeah.
The energy usage as well. Right?
The energy usage.
Yeah. Awesome.
All right.
There are people already discussing Matter again, like in general. Is it something yes or no?
Yeah.
It is, I don't know. We'll see, right? I'm the skeptical one of everybody in Abu Casa, I think. The most skeptical one probably. And I'm becoming a little less skeptical. But still skeptical that yes, like oh yes, it's on. Oh god. Anyways, Yeah,
Yeah.
I will see. We'll
Yeah.
see.
If you-
But nevertheless, it's new. It takes years.
Yes,
So
it takes it.
Yeah,
So
exactly.
if also what's coming next year is that we're gonna kick off our year in January with a live stream about Matter. So if you want to know everything about the Matter and you have any questions, please leave them in the comment on our Matter blog post so we see them, and then we will start discussing. We're gonna do like a state update on Matter where we are at in the beginning of January. We show and talk about all the nitty-gritty details, all the things that are like haunting us and that we are trying to prevent from haunting you as users. And so definitely tune in. It will be interesting. If you like to geek out, smart home Matter, definitely check it out.
And definitely leave your questions on the blog post about Matter. The Geneva blog post is the easiest for now, because we really want to know what is bothering you. What do you want to understand? What is unclear? Just fire it all at us, and then we know what to handle during the live stream next year.
I will. Oh yeah, it's complex, right? It's not easy. So I would definitely have questions. So
Yeah.
I'm interested.
I had a 2-hour session with Marcel and Jilo to explain what Matter is and what we can do to make it
You still
easier
feel
for our
dizzy?
users.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Fun.
Yeah.
Somebody
Somebody
asked
asked the
Frank, just
Yeah,
your Christmas tree, is it connected?
Twinkly. Yes,
Twinkly.
it's Twinkly. Twinkly. It's connected to Home Assistant. And it's even, I got the similar lights outside. And you can, this is, by the way, a cool feature about Twinkly. I think that's a really nifty one. You can connect multiple together and they will share the effects in sync, even if they're outside and such.
Nice.
It's actually beautiful. So yes, it's Twinkly. Yeah. Nice.
Local API?
It's a local API. Yeah, definitely. And what's nice about them, I think right now, if you're still interested in stuff like that, I feel like they're ditching the RGB series. They have RGBW series as well. This is the RGB series, and they're generally out for sale everywhere somehow, and the RGBWs are not. So if you're interested in something like that, then this might be a good time.
Nice.
I find them fun.
Yeah, I have my Christmas tree is just on a basic energy plug to automatically turn on during the day.
This one just goes out automatically, so it's fine. Set a timer, like old-fashioned. Nothing special, no automations there. Anyways, but I could have done that. Not there yet. Yeah. What else is new?
Yeah. So we wrap up.
Yeah.
I'm looking around. I was.
Yeah.
I was using these.
Yeah.
These are the second generation from IKEA. The energy measuring, they used to have this one with just like an LED kind of thing, and then you could mod it with ESP8266, ESP Home. I think Guy has a whole blog post about it. This is the second generation. You don't have to mod it. It just has Zigbee. And
that's good.
I don't like them. So
really?
So the thing is, it has a button on top to turn on the backlight, which means that you actually have to walk there and tap the button to see what's going on. And the temperature that's being sent to Home Assistant is in steps of 1 degree. And that's a lot for Celsius, right? It goes from like 21 Celsius to 22 Celsius.
Really?
Yeah. So I'm not, I would not recommend it. Oh, where's my
They are $30, right? Something like that.
50.
$50.
Oh, that's quite a lot, actually.
So IKEA.
I like my Aware.
Yeah, I like my Aware too. And now Keith's thermostat has replaced this one in my living room.
Oh yeah.
But IKEA did just announce 3 new Zigbee sensors. Door, I think water
leak, and motion, I think.
Maybe something.
What I did like about those is they have normal batteries,
normal
not
batteries,
like weird cells or something, just AAA batteries or something.
Yeah.
They are a little bit larger because of that, but it is like normal stuff.
And you should get longer battery life out of them, right?
Oh, that I'm not sure if it tells anything about efficiency, but yeah, it might be might be.
I mean, a small coin battery, they go for years usually, right? Like 2 years or something, 3 years.
I go through them a bit faster, but yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
Like less than a year?
Less than a year.
Oh, wow.
Often.
Oh, I don't have that. No.
So that's why I'm like kind of hyped for having the AA or AAA ones. Also, they're going to be affordable, right? I think I saw a price of like $10 per sensor.
I mean, yeah, all the IKEA stuff has been relatively affordable.
Yeah, exactly. But that's
except for their Sonos collaborations.
Oh yeah.
But generally, the other smart home stuff is cheap. Oh, look, it's outdoor motion apparently, so that's cool.
That's good.
Yeah.
I got by the way, this one sent over, which I'm currently exploring.
I forgot.
So talking about garage doors, Paul's already mentioned we had the MyQ stuff, and now everybody wants to be working with Home Assistant. I got sent in stuff from Tailwind, and apparently this works with basically any garage door out there, including Chamberlain and LiftMaster and whatnot. This is all I know about it. I don't have a garage door, so that's already problem number one. Nevertheless, I did have gear to play with it and to test with it. So I'm looking at it. Might be it's fully local as well, so it might be an option for some people even.
Yeah. Well, it would be cool to get it into Home Assistant, right? Like I think we need to have as many garage doors available, openers available with local APIs.
Yeah, I think, and this is just one. So having some choice, I think, wouldn't be bad right now in the current way the ecosystem is. So, Tailwind. Looking at it, cannot tell you anything about it yet.
Well, it has a local API or not? Or is it cloud?
Yes, it has. It has a local API. I've been building a library, so I know it has. I know it works, but I have no idea. Besides like talking to that thing at technical level, I have no idea yet where it's going to be at. But yeah, early days.
Cool. But yeah, local is good. Cloud is bad.
Yep.
Good. Wisdom. It's a wrap. I think we've made it 2 hours, and we should stop bothering people. Yeah. No, thanks everybody for watching. This was great. Please enjoy the release. It's out. Hit that update button in Home Assistant, and then if you're on YouTube, like and subscribe. Thumbs up. All three.
We need more thumbs up. There are not that many.
No?
Oh, no.
Okay, well,
we had such a great release. It's the last one of the year. Come on, hit that thumbs up.
We want at least 1,000 thumbs up. I know. Is it visible?
Like setting bars. Is it like
otherwise we won't come back.
Or go away. It's even worse. No.
Look, Timo, thank you.
Thank you so much. And subscribe, because in 13 December, this stream will be back with Year of the Force, Chapter 5.
Chapter 5.
All right. Lastly, if you want to support our work, all of us are being paid full-time to work on Home Assistant by Nabukasa, which is also a company that I started and also started Home Assistant. So we're the good guys. No investors. Subscribe to Home Assistant Cloud, and then we will just keep making Home Assistant better. And then if we don't speak to you, then shame on you. You're missing Year of the Voice Chapter 5. But then I wish everybody happy holidays.
Happy holidays.
Yeah.
Enjoy the holidays. And enjoy the release.
Yes. All right.
Have fun.
Bye-bye.